What's going on, everybody? Stubbs here from Retro Handhelds. Today we're going to look at the GKD Mini Classic. This is one I've been waiting for quite a while, and I'm excited that it's finally arrived. I was a little worried there the campaign was taking just a long time to ship. So this finally arrived here from GKD, and it's kind of cool. So to preface this, I did try briefly the GKD Mini Plus, the hybrid model that Russ had, and man, I did not like that at all. So I am surprised by this one. This one I do like in this form factor, but this is what came in the box. So it came with this nice little case and a charging cable and an instruction manual, which we might need because stock I'm not quite sure about yet. Okay, so this is a thick boy too, for the case anyways. The handheld itself is relatively comfortable right off the bat, so yeah, it's all metal, so it's heavy. It definitely has some heft to it, but not uncomfortable, and way more ergonomic feeling so far than the hybrid version of this. So I like that it's all one slab here. This is a very nice high quality aluminum, I believe, shell. This one's the blue model, and yeah, it just feels good in the hands. Also could probably be used as a weapon, so be careful having it with your kids, or if you have an intruder, maybe you can kind of toss it at them. It has a vent, which says hello on the back. Let's do a quick vent smell. Oh yeah, that's top quality vent smell. If we were to do a mouthfeel, definitely not too bad. No, I have to do those in all our videos. Don't ask. The price of this one actually comes in right now at $180, and if you do want to pick one up, we do have one in our description for 10% off. So that brings it down to a little bit less than that. They say retail it's going to be $280. I do not think that to be the case. This is an RK3566 after all, so this is attempting to compete with the likes of the RK2023 from powkiddy, which is only $60, and the 353PS from Anbernic and the other 353 devices, which are also much cheaper than $280. So I don't think this will ever go up that high. I think it's going to stay at the $180 price point, but this is very interesting. Thanks, 18zips. Yes, leaving people speechless in chat. It's a bit overpriced for what it is. It's a lot overpriced for what it is. Crazily priced. Not only that, but when we backed the Kickstarter some time ago, they said they were going to ship in January. No updates, no updates. I finally was going to reach out and have PayPal refund me because there was nothing, no communication on the Kickstarter, and then out of nowhere, this showed up on my doorstep. Not before being asked to pay an extra $16 in shipping months later. So the journey here has been a long one, but all is forgiven, right? Once it's here, and it actually is a decent handheld, and the Kickstarter price was a lot easier to swallow. I think it was like 140 or 150 at the time, and that's a lot easier to swallow than 180 bucks. So this thing is a brick. It is thick, sheet thick. However, I'm still enjoying it so far. So L2R2, nice and quiet clicky. I like that. Let's bring that up to the camera. L1R1, those feel good. It's kind of a satisfying clicking there. Yeah, if you're out there waiting for this on Kickstarter still, they are arriving on doorsteps. I got this just a few days ago, so keep a lookout. Yeah, I was definitely getting impatient waiting for this one. So minimal branding, I like that. It says it's the Plus. They did have a prior model that was smaller than this as well, just called the GKD Mini. I never used that one, and from what I understand, it's not the best. But this has two special buttons here. I don't know what these do, so I might actually get the instruction booklet out. Come on, you. Ah. Old instructions. This has 2 systems on it, by the way. It has Emulation Station and some variant of Dingux, Open Dingux on it, called Lovely Child, which is, sure. When it boots up, for instance, it says press A to go to Lovely Child. I'm like, what is that? Otherwise, you wait around and Emulation Station boots up. Okay, so, oh, this is L3 and R3. I was wondering. So apparently, even though these click, it's not L3 and R3. You're going to find those on the side. A little confused on that. Very good. Dual speakers. Yep. So we have 2 speakers that fire out the back of the unit, oddly enough. Kind of an odd design choice. We'll see how they sound. USB-C on the bottom here, 3.5-inch headphone out, volume up and down. You have 2 micro SD card slots up top. One of these came with the unit, and that was a, let's see here. Let's do this one. It actually says GKD on the SD card, which is kind of cool. Let's see if you can see that on camera. But it's 32 gigs and did not ship with any ROMs, which, bravo. It was so long ago that I ordered this, though. I'm wondering if I just ordered a variant that didn't have ROMs. Either way, if that was on purpose, good. That's how Retroid does it. That's how really everyone should do it. So I added in my own SD card here, just a 64 gig card from the powkiddy X55, since that also ran Emulation Station out of the box. So we can take a look at what out-of-the-box experience might look like for these games. But yeah, so far, it did come with a screen protector as well. So I've already applied that here. And it looks like it's OCA laminated. Start select. You have what I believe to be 2 function buttons here. These do click again, but they don't respond. It looks like Hall sticks from the 353 M, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I'm going to look on the website to confirm. D-pad feels really, really nice, though. The pivot on that is very good. This is like an easier to press D-pad than what you'd find on maybe the RP2 Plus or even the Retroid Pocket Flip. So this one feels much more like an anbernic, mushy D-pad. No false diagonals that I was getting. And actually the face buttons are very, very serviceable here. So they're kind of a mixture of dome style and... how do I describe this? This is like... it feels like the Analog Pocket. That's what it feels like. It feels like the Analog Pocket face buttons. It's a very particular kind of depression of the buttons. So you're getting nice travel here and getting some really nice play on these. It also is kind of a satisfying click almost, but they're very quiet. So it's like a quiet clicky like the backs here. L2, R2, there's the D-pad, and again the clickable joysticks, which don't appear to do anything. Although we also have to reference the fact, now that I'm looking at it in this instruction manual, this is for the other model. This doesn't even have the joysticks on the bottom. So L3 and R3 showing in this might actually just be, and I assume, are mapped to this L3 and R3 stick. So I don't know what these do. These might not do anything on this model, or maybe they're just repeated or extra M1 and M2 buttons. But yeah, I didn't notice that before when I was looking at this a second ago. That is very relieving that hopefully these function just fine. All right, should we turn it on? Let's turn it on. Turn on the thing. I'm also parched. Get myself some agua. Yeah, so the price on this, and everyone's wondering that, it's $180. Do you want to look at the actual website real quick with me? Specifications, yeah, 3.5-inch display, 640 by 480, 1.8 gigahertz RK3566 CPU, 3,000 milliamp hour battery. That's about 6 to 8 hours of battery life. So says the manufacturer. 1 gigabyte of RAM, USB-C charging, 2 micro SD card slots, and that headphone jack. So that's great. Let's pop up their website. Okay. Not well rated on here so far. They also have a gray, space gray variant, and this sky blue. This sky blue color is really, really nice, by the way. I mean, this is sleek. It's not picking up fingerprints. This, again, if you're worried about the extra crazy price point of $180, you are getting some really, really sweet hardware here. I mean, this feels like maybe what the TRDR wanted to be. This is really, really nice hardware so far. Very high-end, very sleek. The screen already, I can tell you, is nice and contrasty, vivid colors. I don't know what O3 means, but there's O3 on the front, so there you go. They say, they've had this on here for a while, by the way, saying special offer. It's only $180 now. It's going to be $279. That would be freaking crazy if they raised the price to $279 ever in the lifetime of this product. Ever. If that ever happened, I would just probably delete this video because no. No. 180 is crazy already. Again, if you do go and want to pick this up, please at least use the 10% off coupon in our description, which will bring it down a little bit more. But still, this is overpriced for what it is, and I'm not going to at all try to hide that fact. I'd really love to see this around $130 to $40. I mean, take a look at anbernic metal devices. Do you ever see those reaching the heights of $200, except for the 405M, which is a better chipset, mind you, the T618 at least. Now they say they're shipping starting from July, so the next batch is going out in July. It's a 3566 handheld, and it's vertical and it's metal. Let's see if it performs like it should, though. Yeah, mini HDMI out. Yeah, there's no HDMI out on here that I'm seeing, unless there's a possible way to do it through the USB-C port, but I don't know. There. Let's get the volume down a little bit. So by default, if you just leave the system sitting here, it's going to load up into Emulation Station. There's another OS on here, or another UI called Lovely Child, which is an Open Dingix variant. And we can try to go into that. We'll say go to Lovely Child. Really go Lovely Child? Yes, really go Lovely Child. Apparently it's only $115 domestic in China. That is a much easier price point to swallow. I have to imagine most of the upcharge has to be just in this metal housing here. There's also the battery here, which you can see is hidden behind a single screw. Maybe we'll get fancy and look for some tools and open this up. But this is a solidly built device. I'm surprised. I did not like the Mini Plus hybrid version at all. Really just felt wonky. It was uncomfortable using it without the bottom L3R3 attachment. And then docking it just didn't feel quite coherent. And it's like, yeah, that is a cheaper device though. So if you want something that's cheaper and you want to cut off split the nips here, as we say in the community, if you're going to split the nips, yeah, get the cheaper model. It's just not comfortable. The screen is oddly tall. But again, being set in this slate unit here, I like this so much better. Let's hop right into some Tekken 3. Do the sticks get in the way of the D-pad, Cadence asks, and the face buttons? I would say no, because on this model, you're going to be resting your hands like that, really. You're going to kind of probably intertwine them a bit, even. And no, I'm not touching the sticks at all, so yeah, even if I were to... No, I don't even breeze by the L3 and R3. Yeah, these are nice and separate. This kind of feels like the this really feels like the RG353V and VS is what this. These joysticks feel nice too. What in the world is with this default aspect ratio? Why would you ship this from the factory like this? What is it? What in the... This is like Pico 8 1:1 aspect ratio. Even worse than that. It's like... This is Nokia N-Gauge aspect ratio. Like, all right, we're going to ship the product out. What do you want to set for the default screen ratio? Go ahead and give me that 2003 N-Gauge. I got you, fam. And here we are. It's playing fluid, though. It's playing nice and smooth. I don't see that it's upscaled much. Maybe it's upscaled 2x. Let's get into RetroArch. Or whatever this menu is. Never even... Some sort of proprietary menu here. Lovely child menu, I guess. Screen ratio. Scale proportionally? No. Full screen. Okay. Nearest neighbor, no filter. There we go. Now it's a video game. Hey, Montag. N-Gage did get Elder Scrolls, right? They had that Shadow Keep or Shadow Key. What was that game called? They had a Skyrim, or they had an Elder Scrolls game on there. I remember that. I don't know how good it was. I haven't played a ton of it, but ask Shem from Retro Breeze. He would know more than any of us. I'm not picking up the contrast quite right on camera right now. It is definitely more vibrant than it's showing off. I have some daylight coming in here, and it's probably giving me some funkiness. When we're reviewing our handhelds, we must produce a cave-like environment, and that is very important. Yeah, well, I think these are L3 and R3. Let me confirm this in the game real quick. Yeah, and again, back buttons feel good. All right, let's try. I think Tekken uses. No, it doesn't use them. Okay, that gets us out of the game. Maybe let's do something else. Aha, so that was PlayStation standalone emulator. So now we're going to do PlayStation RA Core. Now maybe that one will have the aspect ratio correct out of the box. This is running Linux, fully Linux. If someone sends this to Black Seraph, I'm sure he can get Android running on it, though. Possibly. Probably. Let's take a listen to the speakers. They are popping out the backside. Not bad. Those sound nice and full. Again, a little strange that they're backfiring, but not bad. If your hands are down here, the sound is going to sort of curve downward and back at you a little bit, at least. If my understanding of acoustics is correct. I've been wrong before. I also want to... we're waiting for this to load. I want to say congrats to my buddy Russ from Retro Game Core for 300,000 subs. That is freaking amazing. There's merch in his merch store. Check it out. Proud of Russ. He has been grinding and hard at work and helping the retro scene for years now. And we are proud to have him as our partner on the channel here and in our community. And I wonder if he'll be doing one of these videos for the GKD Mini Classic. We were both kind of scarred with the Mini Plus thing, which is confusing because this one also says Mini Plus on the top, but this is the Mini Plus Classic, so I don't know. Pride Tunes, yeah, that's going to be in our description. If you're watching on YouTube anyways. It should be on Facebook as well in the description. And Twitter, you would just have to head to our YouTube channel. This sounds good. It definitely feels good. It definitely is comfortable when you're holding it. I worry about taking this on trips and playing it for long durations because it is really heavy. I wish I had a scale with me right now. And it's thick, which helps the ergonomics, but it is a brick. How's everybody doing tonight, by the way? Going back to work in the morning? Maybe you have the day off? Maybe you're about to sit down to dinner. Thanks for joining us to look at another silly tech device from China. Which is, I mean, this is some serious shit, man. I don't know. That's one. YouTube gives us one or two, and then before we get, like, demonetized or pushed down in the algo. To reserve it for careful moments. All right, let's get out of here. Okay, so let's see what else is in this UI. So this looks pretty similar to other Open Dingus operating systems. We're going to head over to Emulation Station, which is just a better UI overall, I think, for this device. You want to see some size comparisons? Sure, I have. Retroid Pocket Flip. I don't have any other verticals with me in here except for the Mini Plus right now. Here's the X55. kind of gives you an idea. And let me grab the PS. All right. Let's add the PS to the lineup. All right, X55 from powkiddy. We got the anbernic RG353 PS, the Retroid Pocket Flip, which is the new clamshell, GKD Mini, and the Miu Mini Plus. So the Plus is the closest to it since it's going to be another vertical. So this should give you a good idea. Yeah, this is, I mean, obviously worlds away as far as weight goes. Mini Plus, you can one-hand. This, I would not suggest one-handing. You can do it, and it kind of feels like an early cell phone or something. If you want to see it compared to the Flip. A little bit thicker than the Flip. If we take a look at the RG353 PS, thicker than that for sure. And another blue handheld here with a beautiful blue color, but I actually like the coloring on the GKD just a bit more. Yeah, this is way lighter weight. Afro Lion, are the shoulder buttons comfortable? So far, yeah. We need to play some games that use them more, but they're really easy to access. I like how they have this bump out here. It's actually at a really good spot for holding, and it's easy to reach L2 and R2. All right. That's not good, is it? I don't like that very much. No. I don't like that at all. That would be a cool scene in Mega Man, but I think the screen is freaking out at me right now. That's not good. GKD. I have to... I can't believe I have to do the banner. Oh, all right, let's figure this out. Let's figure this out. Boom, it's fixed. What the heck was that? All right. We're back in business. Turning it off and on again always fixes it. I thought we were totally screwed there. We have 3DO on here. We have Need for Speed. All right, let's try it out. Yeah, I like to have fun with our banners. Just the Rustbot 3000. Yeah. All right, let's get our frame counter on here. I'm guessing that's going to be mapped to something. Maybe. .3DO will run on the 3566 if you mess with it. However, it's not running very well here. In fact, we're getting a lot of frame drops. We can try using a PAL setting, even though this is a North American ROM. This can help a little bit. Threaded DSP is on, that's good. And now we're going to look and make sure that we have our hotkeys configured. Haptics are on, that's good, so we're going to test that out. Hotkey enabled is 10. Is that going to be stick left? I'm not getting response from this stick. Let's maybe... Not getting a response from the left. Oh, no, the right stick I am getting a response from. The left one... Actually, I think that was just a joystick move. I think that's like a left or a right on the joystick. Can we map it to select? Okay. Select it is. We'll look if it's OpenGL or Vulkan. I think it's going to be OpenGL by default. Want to make sure that we have frame counter on. Do OpenGL, yeah. Nope. No good. All right, let's take a look at something else. Let's see how well we can run Dreamcast. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you'd think that it would run just fine, right? iPod chips? But I've been fooled before. Let's go. Come on, Sonic. All right, Rumble's working. Rumble's working. Yes. Let's see if I can get this closer to the camera. We are getting some slowdown. I don't really notice it, but I can visually, again, see that it's on the screen there, so. Yep, runs well. That counter can't be right. I'm not feeling any slowdown. There we go. Now it's kind of evening itself out. This does have some slowdowns. Let's take a look at the options. We could drop it down to 320 by 240, but it's not going to be pretty. But I think that's what we're going to have to do to hit 60. There is definitely further performance to squeeze out of this if we can get some custom firmware. This is not optimized out of the box at all, it appears like, much like the X55. So it's going to be on you, the consumer at the moment, to figure this out and make it run better. Even with messing with options in RetroArch here and the emulators, you may not see a big gain. We may need, again, just a complete rewrite and a custom firmware option. I'd like to try some more of the standalone emulators on the other side of the system in the Lovely Child. And let's quit out of here. Custom firmware, as is tradition. That's right, Idle Cheese. Are you related to Cheeto Steve? My goodness. Let's try Game Boy Advance. My favorite Game Boy Advance game, Alien Hominid. We can try Saturn. I think we have some Saturn on here. Yeah. Once again, it's on the community to make it right. I always forget the maker's name who makes this. It's, I think, Lao Zhang. And he's in our Discord, so I might have to prod at him a bit and say, what the heck, man? Let's configure these emulators. Let's make them work out of the box. Why is this never focused on? I think the only company that focuses on that really is Retroid and AYN. They configure their stuff really nicely out of the box, which is pretty freaking cool. I can see there's some sort of filter on this by default. I don't love that. It's maybe some sort of grid filter. What is it? Shaders off. It's probably something enabled in the core options there. Well, it's somewhere. Audio's good. Gumby, this does dual boot, and I'll show you that in a minute. but both OSs are Linux-based. I like that GBA, though, they default to having the overlay on. See that on camera there. So it has that Game Boy Advance logo, and it does the correct aspect ratio. I like that. Yeah, you know, this runs fine. I don't expect issues with GBA on here. Let's push it a bit more. N64 should be interesting. So this one, for some reason, N64 is problematic on the 3566 chip. And there's always stuff you have to do to sort of optimize that. And I think a lot of that wizardry happens in custom firmware because there's wildly different performance for N64 across different 3566 handhelds. Let's just do some Tony Hawk. Let's switch it up. Well, right out the gate, the controls are... Ah, okay. So it's the C buttons and they're mapped to the right joystick. All right. That'll be interesting. Oh, no. This is running full speed, though. That makes me very, very happy. Let's see, where is the actual... I don't like that it's defaulting to being mapped to the right stick for using the actual function of the skateboarder, the skateboardings. I'm not going to bore you with changing the configuration right now. Yeah, total classic. I'm going to have to cut this entire section because of the song that's playing later on, but I don't even care right now. I'm in a bliss of Goldfinger heaven. Bangers all the way through the soundtrack in this game, man. All right, let's move on to a different N64 game. Here I was worried about N64, but we can't take one game's word for it. Let's try another. Super Mario 64. I wouldn't dare. That one's cheating anyways, because we know how Mario 64 should run. And by default, the default game does not run well. You want to get the specific version of Mario 64 when you're legally acquiring your ROMs. There's like a speed hack on ROM hacking that'll fix a lot of the FPS issues. You want to do Hydro Thunder? Did you see that in the list? We can do that one. Here's the slowdown. Let it begin. Already losing 5 frames, man. I don't know. Alright, this is almost full speed. We can probably tweak with this to get full speed. We're just a couple frames away. Ooh, you can feel the slowdown, though. Ooh, that's not good. Ooh, that doesn't feel good. That makes me feel just... Oh, I gotta take a shower now. So much slowdown. Makes me feel dirty. Let's fix it. Graphics accuracy low. Good. Expansion pack? Nah. Actually, it shouldn't affect anything. Graphics plugin auto. Yeah, right. Let's do rice. Resolution, the lowest we can go is 320 by 240, but let's see if just changing the graphics plugin helps us. This is looking promising. Might have gained us 1 or 2 FPS. Still not full speed, though. I don't like, and I don't love, that I need to tinker with every single game to enjoy N64 on here. I think for $180 that is a poor user experience. I think for $180 that you should spend the time testing and configuring things for people out of the box. The very best you can. This was delayed so long that I think there is no excuse for this to be performing as badly as it's performing. We're doing better now, though. Okay, maybe the rice plugin was the way to go. Either way, though, I shouldn't have to mess with so much stuff. Especially when we're talking about Linux. I just don't understand it. They leave it to the tinkerers in the community, knowing that we'll accept less. But at this price point, it better be damn well perfect for the performance you're getting for the price. It better be perfect for the configuration, the UI. It should just launch and play. I do like that they didn't include games on here by default, that I had to load my own. I always respect that. But I'm so far not super impressed with the presentation beyond the hardware. And this is also getting noticeably hot now. On N64, the screen is getting hot. And the back is getting warm. As well as Mario is not being happy right now on the menus. And I'm sure Star Fox is going to suffer the same fate. But let's take a look at Hydro Thunder as one more N64 game. My other question, is there a standalone N64 emulator on here? I don't actually see Hydro Thunder loaded on here right now. But let's pick another game. Yeah, you know, PS2, theoretically, some 2D titles may work on here. We've seen it on a few other of these models, but it is really, really not worth messing with to get what you want out of it. You're going to have to choose a very small portion of the library. I mean, games like, I don't know, like Beautiful Joe, or a number of other 2D PS2 titles. Probably like Mega Man 7. That's probably going to run okay if you go with the lowest settings in Aether. Not Aether, but... No, you'd have to first get Android on here. That's the other part of this, is that it's not going to run on Linux anyways. You're going to have to get an Android custom firmware on here, then load on Aether, and then try to squeeze a little bit of performance. It's just not worth it. Just move on to another device. If you're already paying $180 and you want PS2, get yourself something like the Retroid Pocket Flip, which is even less. It's like $150. And this thing's freaking awesome, by the way. I don't know if you've seen one of these or not. I'm going to put out a video tomorrow just showing off the Ergo Grip a bit. But this thing's solid, man. And if you want the same performance as this for a lot less money, pick up an anbernic 353 PS, pick up an RK2023 from powkiddy, pick up even the X55. It's going to be less money. And again, this is the RK3566 processor at 1.8 gigahertz. Let's do one more N64 game. Let's do some Gex. Enter the Gecko. This is a personal favorite, one I used to play back in the day all the time. It is cheesy, campy, kind of a ripoff of Mario 64 in a way, but it's charming. It's endearing. I like it. You know, Idle Tees, for the price, should they have squeezed a T618 in there? Yeah. I think if there was a T618 in this, we'd see this be in the $230 to $40 range. Probably closer to its supposed retail price. So yeah, iPod chip brings up a great point. Surprising that it gets hot. The 3566 is a 5 watt. I guess you meant TDP there. It normally doesn't get hot. This chip doesn't really get hot, but you have the metal shell here, and the heat coming off the chip is making its way into the housing. The front is warm, the back is warm. We might have to open this up to take a look to see maybe there's no thermal paste applied or something else, but yeah, this is definitely warm. It's warm, it's heavy. As I'm playing it longer here, I would say that I'm enjoying it a little bit less. Yeah, I think the shell is acting as a heat sink itself. That's a good point. That's never good. I never appreciate when they do that. Why? I just feel old and stubborn, which makes sense because my full username is Stubborn Pixel. But Stubbs is less letters to type out. And if you've seen my thumbs, I mean they're stubby. People say I have recognizable thumbs. I guess I appreciate that. I was just born this way. My yearly reminder that they're different sizes too, by the way. I think my right thumb's like half an inch longer than my left. I don't know. I tell people that it makes me better at video games. And playing the bass guitar. Slap at the bass guitar. I'm not very good at video games. I'm decent at the bass guitar, though. Some days of the week. And again, so far I don't have proof that either L3 or R3 work. So I'd like to try one more PS1 game. Alright, let's see if we're getting full speed on this. I'm not surprised with Gex. Yeah, this looks good. Let's move on. I will be honest and say that I first booted this up before the live stream and I messed around with the Nintendo DS and the controls were all wonky, the screens were funky. I'll launch it real quick, but you'll see. We're going to have to restart the handheld afterwards. And I totally screwed up the controls. I went to remap stuff and somehow unmapped both the D-pad and the left analog stick. So, as you can see, can't do much. If I go into the menu to try to remap, it assumes I have a touchscreen and does not let me navigate or do anything. Even if I try to use a stylus, which isn't active on the main menu, you're just stuck like this. So I'm going to have to somehow get in here, delete the config file, and regenerate it, or just manually edit the config file. So we're going to be able to drive forward, but we cannot move at all. Oh, God. We can move the stylus, though. I mean, that's good. It's good, but Mario's not going to... No. However, I was surprised that Nintendo DS ran pretty well on this for the few games I did try. While N64 isn't perfect, Nintendo DS does seem to be a lot better. Which, again, makes no sense. All right, now we're going to turn it off, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you first boot it up, and you get the option to go into either UI. Now, that's something that I want to commend Lao Zhang for. Make sure I'm getting his name right and actually look in the channel here. Yeah, Lao Zhang. Now, he actually, the designer of this, he just got married the other day. So I don't mean to throw shade on your handheld, man. I'm just reporting on the findings that I'm learning on the fly here. But anyways, congrats on your wedding, though. That is really cool. I hope you're enjoying the honeymoon. And if they do honeymoons in China, I don't actually know. But yeah, it's impressive at least that you're getting out the devices to people right around the same time. So hopefully, if not all orders are shipped out, you'll get back on those as soon as possible. But I know how it goes when you first get married. There's a whole bunch of just to-dos and stuff you gotta do. Okay, so when you boot up the GKD, you're gonna get this option. If you leave it, it'll boot an emulate. If you press A, it's gonna say enter or go into Lovely Child, which is a little bit weird translation there. But this is the OpenDingix UI side of things. Supposedly it's going to work. Nope, it's going to reboot. All right. Let's try that again. Can it play PS2 or GameCube? No. Don't try. I mean, yeah, again, it'll play a little bit. It'll play the very lightest titles for PS2, for 2D, maybe even a few GameCube, once you get Android on here. Again, and there's no Android option on here, so you're going to have to send it to Black Sarah for another Lineage developer to get Android made working on this. But as it stands, no. It's not going to run on here. And it didn't even boot up in a Lovely Child. It booted up in Emulation Station. Good. Everything's fine. No, again, the premium price at $180, this is... You're paying for the metal shell. You are not paying for the performance. All right, so here is Lovely Child, that OpenDingix UI. And again, there's a standalone PS1 emulator and a RetroArch core. And it looks like, you know what? It looks like there's multiple N64 options. I see the 3 N64 RA cores. And this one might be... No, that's a core 2. Okay, so there is no standalone for N64. Flycast for Dreamcast. Here's Sega Saturn, though, if we wanted to try that. And I'm going to definitely do the standalone option if we have it. I don't have any Saturn games on here, though, guys, so I apologize. We're not going to do Saturn right now. But if it's anything like the other 3566s, it should run a little bit with some tweaking. Now here's Swan Station. Yeah, and again, here's the standalone. But let's do the core. Let's do the core and let's do Tekken 3 one more time. Yeah, you know what? If you're going to be paying that much money, The X55 coming in around $80. You really can't beat it. It's the same chip. I believe it's the same RAM and general configuration. These buttons are super loud, but this is a dev unit, not a production unit, so supposedly those are corrected. Screen is nice and vibrant. It's wide, but not too bad. It also needs a lot of love in the firmware department, so that'll be coming. The stock experience is not great. We'll do another video on it at some point as well. .5-inch screen for 180. Yeah. Ew, right. All right, Rumble does work. Wait. That was weird. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not working yet. I don't know why it just vibrated. There's some quirks in this thing. Not okay, now that DualShock is on, it's not vibrating. So it happened earlier in Dreamcast, but there's further things to be done. And I'm not seeing. All right. Let's see if we can at least map L3 and R3, because we really need to know that before we wrap this up. We are running way over. I was hoping to do this in 40 minutes today, but we're at an hour. That's okay. These things take time. Okay, so let's look what we have mapped to L3, R3. 11 and 12, huh? That doesn't work. L3 doesn't work. R3 doesn't work. Let's try... Aha! That works immediately. That works. Okay, so L3 and R3... Oh my god. No. Why? I wonder if it's to try to keep parity with the mini version. With its... Even then, though, it has a hybrid add-on dock thing with L3, R3 sticks. I can't believe this. I really can't believe this. I really can't believe this. L3 and R3, while we have a clickable stick here, it's been mapped and only works on these two buttons on the side. What in the world? I have to run the banner again. All right. In wrapping up here, though, this handheld is an interesting choice. If there could have been a T618 in here, I think the price would be a lot easier to swallow, especially if we could get Android on here. There's value here. The stock experience, while admittedly better than the launch of the GKD Mini Plus, because that shipped in a different language. I believe it had a Mandarin as the default for everything, so that was a pain to have to get through. At least this did start out in English, so I understood generally what I was doing. There's just a lot of kind of weird quirks with it that are going to have to be figured out in custom firmware and tinkerers as more people get these on their doorsteps. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's great hardware. I think it's like 10 out of 10 hardware, in fact. I just wish that you could map L3 to L3 and R3 to R3. You have two clickable buttons that do nothing. Yeah, and wait for the Trim UI brick. The Trim UI brick should be able to offer more than this. This is just... There's a person out there that this is for. A particular person who this might be their dream 3566 vertical handheld, their dream sort of analog pocket alternative. It does feel similar to that kind of weight distribution. It is heavier, of course, but it kind of is like an metal analog pocket in a lot of respects. It just needs work in the UI. So while I like it for the price I paid for it originally, I would not buy it at the price that it is now. And I especially wouldn't buy it if it ever goes up to $280, because that is crazy. There are a bunch of other handhelds I'd recommend over this, including the 353 PS, also linked for that in our description, as well as the Mini Plus. This is less powerful, way less powerful, only does up to PS1, but it is so pocketable and handy dandy. Getting a T618 handheld like any of the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus or the Retroid Flip, or the 405M from Anbernic, or the X28 now from powkiddy, all great options that are still going to be less money, and they'll do more. They'll do GameCube and PS2. If you really want a vertical, though, even then you could pay a lot less and get the Anbernic 353V or VS, and you're going to get a lot more functionality out of it at a lesser price point. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your grandparents, tell them this is the channel to watch when you're learning how to set up and tinker stuff. Visit our buddy Russ's channel at Retro Game Core. Congrats on the 300K. We actually just hit 10K yesterday. So we're stoked to be celebrating a milestone ourselves. So stay with us. We'll bring you more. Tomorrow I got a live stream with Rob, the Retro Tech Dad, where we're going to look again at the Microsoft Surface Duo 2 versus the Duo 1. So we're going to see what is the performance difference in 3DS, and is it worth buying? We'll find out. We'll see. Not only that, but in the morning I'm going to put out a quick video, like I was saying, just on this Ergo Grip, just thoughts on that, and a little bit of my thoughts on the Retroid Pocket Flip. I love this thing. It's so good. In the meantime, everybody, thanks for joining me, and take care of your handhelds and take care of each other.